You're watching Thunder Thursday with the News OK Thunder coverage team. I'm your fill-in host, Darnell Mayberry, joined by our Thunder columnists, our overall sports columnists, Barry Trammell, and Thunder beat writers, Anthony Slater and Eric Horn. All the guys are in Dallas on the road trip for Game 3 tonight in Dallas at American Airlines Center. Guys, we're talking Dancing with the Stars. Russell Westbrook and Cameron Payne got under the skin of the Mavs, particularly Charlie Villanueva and Justin Anderson. We can't stop talking about this in the sports world. Barry, you wrote about it today. What do you make of this Dancing with the Stars beef between the Mavs and the Thunder?
Well, I don't think it's anything from the Thunder side. I think it's sort of like putting on their sneakers. That's just what they do. And I don't think the Mavericks were offended. I don't even think they really even notice it anymore. But when you get beat by 38 points, you got to do something, and I think instigate something. So he used the dance to try to instigate. I don't know if it worked, but it sure didn't hurt. Mavs improved by 39 points. So we got a series on our hands.
Slater, big deal or no deal?
Big deal for us because we like writing about stuff, and I think the biggest deal is I'm very interested in what goes down tonight because you got Payne and Westbrook. Nobody thought they were going to stop, and they've actually told us they're not going to stop. So are they going to go more outlandish with it pregame? And if they do, like, is Charlie Villanueva, can he allow it after everything he said? Can he allow them to do it in Dallas, right in front of him? So if he goes and does an interruption again, does Westbrook get into it? Do we have potentially pregame technicals? Westbrook's got to make sure he doesn't either get a technical so he can get ejected later in the game, or maybe two T's right there and he can't play. I think there's actually a mild bit of pregame drama coming up.
Eric, what will we see tonight? First of all, who's right, who's wrong between the Thunder and the Mavs, Charlie Villanueva and Justin Anderson, Russell Westbrook and Cameron Payne? And what do you think we'll see tonight just before tip-off at 6 p.m.?
Well, I don't think anybody's particularly at fault. I'm all for gamesmanship, and I don't blame Charlie Villanueva for doing what he did. I mean, that's kind of that neutral ground. It's not like Westbrook and Payne were over by the Thunder's bench doing that, and they've been doing it all season at the same time, so I don't think there's anything wrong with what they're doing. Up until this point, we've never seen anybody come in between them doing their dance. It's always been the other team gives them their space, they let them do their pregame ritual, and they go on with it. But I don't fault Charlie Villanueva for doing what he did. Will anything else come from it tonight? We'll see. I wonder if anybody else is going to get involved if hands get put on somebody again. Is somebody going to come over from the Thunder bench and try and separate things? Or somebody going to come over from the Mavericks bench? But the Mavericks needed to do what they needed to do to get themselves riled up for the series, and it seems like it worked.
Barry, we've seen sort of shenanigans in the past with the Thunder and playoff opponents, particularly Houston. Kendrick Perkins sending a message early on, I guess that was Game 3 in Houston, with a hard screen on Patrick Beverley the game after he tore into Russell Westbrook's knee. Do the refs, do you think, are they going to monitor this type of activity before the game and make sure it doesn't escalate? And if anything, do you think the Mavs can do anything else to try to annoy the Thunder?
I doubt the refs have an issue in this unless something happens once the game starts. I think Billy Donovan would be a lot more interested if the refs got a quicker whistle for the defense being played on Kevin Durant. And frankly, Rick Carlisle probably wishes they'd take better care of Dirk Nowitzki, who's not been frequenting the line. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of that. I think we might see a little bit of pregame hijinks, whether Charlie Villanueva sort of painted himself into a corner. He's sort of taken a stand, and he's going to have to do something. I don't know that he's going to go that far, but I think the Thunder will keep dancing. I think the Mavs will try to let them know that they're not going to cower. What that looks like, I don't know.
Slater, you're the king of the vine. Are you going to vine this before the game tonight?
What's up?
I said you're the king of the vine. Are you going to vine it? Are you going to be right there in front of them, vining it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to take video of it and get it up. You never know how, like, the arena 4G and wireless is going to be, but I am sure I will not be the only one. I assume not only will I be locked in with the phone like usual, but, TNT might show it live. I mean, it is only, 25, 30 seconds before tip-off, and everyone's talking about it, knows it's coming. Like I said, I really wouldn't be surprised if live TV goes to it.
It's funny that that was actually one of the few times that Anthony or I didn't film it the last time it happened, and then all this stuff popped off. So, I mean, I imagine we'll be ready for it tonight.
All right, guys, you're watching Thunder Thursday with our Thunder coverage team leading into tonight's Game 3 against the Mavericks. Anthony Slater had a great story today about Russell Westbrook's defense. Anthony, we're going to come to you. The question is, Russell Westbrook's defense is, you fill in the blank.
A lot like this team, it has the capability of being incredible. Like, I thought he played really good defense in Game 1, and they played really good in Game 1. Because when he's locked in, we know he has the physical tools, capabilities to potentially be the best point guard defender in the league. But it's so inconsistent, just like this team. It's lazy at times. In bad moments, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Like, I'm fine with mid-January against the Timberwolves. He has a bad defensive game. He doesn't get out on Zach LaVine threes, whatever. But when you're trying to protect the lead with 4 minutes left in Game 2 at home, and you're just kind of, you're jogging back, you're getting back screened by Dirk, and you're just kind of letting Dirk run away from you, and then Raymond Felton's blown by you, and then you're not taking ownership of it. Like I wrote in the story, I mean, he doesn't need to take ownership with us, but he better be taking ownership of it behind the scenes and not just saying that's a team defensive error.
Eric, you fill in the blank. Russell Westbrook's defense is?
Concerning. It's something that, as we've said, as Anthony said, you'd like to see a more consistent effort out of him because we know he's capable. We've seen it done before. But it's concerning from a sense that when they get against the teams that are really talented, the San Antonio's, Golden States, not that Dallas isn't a talented team, but they're a team that's not as talented as the Thunder. If and when the Thunder gets out of this series, they're not going to be able to afford to have Russell Westbrook have the defensive inconsistencies that he's shown us in Game 2. I always think back to the moment against San Antonio earlier this year where LaMarcus Aldridge had the ball, and it was a tight game in the fourth quarter, and Westbrook came off of his man in the corner and tried to go for the steal, and LaMarcus Aldridge just read that, kicked it to Danny Green, and hit a three. And Danny Green hit the three, and the game just came unraveled from there. So can Russell Westbrook change the way that he plays defense? That's the question. And if he has that kind of discipline, I think he can really take the Thunder to another level because people will feed off of that. And they'll see that one of their leaders is completely committed and locked into playing defense for the entire game.
I think against the Warriors and Spurs, you worry about the gambling, as you've kind of referenced right there. But against a team like the Mavericks, you worry about him just not respecting who he's guarding. I remember a game in New Orleans this year where he just didn't guard Norris Cole because he figured, hey, Norris Cole is not going to do much. Then Norris Cole hit like 3 wide-open threes, and suddenly he had like 10 points in the first quarter, and New Orleans took off, ended up winning. That's what I think happened the other night. He was going down the stretch thinking, like, Raymond Felton's not going to beat me, and Raymond Felton's probably not the guy they're going to use to beat us. But guess what? I mean, Dallas went to a pick and roll with him and Mejri, and it worked 3 straight times.
I'm dying to hear Barry's answer for this. He's been the president of the Russell Westbrook fan club since 2008. But before we go to Barry, we got to let you know that our Thunder playoff coverage is brought to you by J. Marshall Square, OKC's only big house apartment community. Barry, talk to me about Russell Westbrook's defense.
Well, we've covered it. It'd be one thing if he had one problem, but he's got 2 problems. He's got recklessness at times, and he's just got lack of interest at times. And when he's not reckless, and when he is interested, he's an excellent defender. That's what drives you nuts about Russell Westbrook, is he could be one of the league's best defenders if he would play, every possession. But he takes too many possessions off. And part of that is, offense is where you rest. And it's that way. It's been that way in basketball forever. The problem with Westbrook is he plays so hard on offense that he does, there are times when he probably does mentally and physically need a blow. And unfortunately, he takes that on defense. You don't see that much out of guys. So that's a problem. I think the one thing about Russell Westbrook, though, is he does respond to criticism. He doesn't ever let you know it, but he does. So I think we'll see Westbrook sort of bear down here in the next couple of games. The problem is it never lasts for long, so it could be a problem again very soon.
You know what I thought was interesting? I didn't really write about it, and it's tough. We'd have to research it more, but two of those really bad defensive plays in the fourth quarter were right after he missed the jumper, and he looked frustrated and slow getting back. Like I said, we'd have to do the research, but maybe it's just like when he misses a shot, he kind of gets out of it, and he's mad he missed a shot, and then teams exploit him on the other end.
Anthony, I'll stick to you. It used to be that Russell Westbrook had to do so much offensively that the excuse was he would conserve his energy on defense because the team needed so much out of him offensively. Now this Thunder team, as inconsistent as some of the other role players are, it's probably still the most potent offensive team in Thunder history. I think the numbers even back that up. So what's the excuse now for Russell Westbrook's lack of attention to detail defensively?
I don't think there could be an excuse the other night because, Kevin Durant was the one trying to expend all his energy offensively. He was trying to get going. He was shooting pretty much every possession down late. Russ wasn't doing a lot. I mean, his stat line was what it usually is, which is solid. But, I don't think he can use that excuse, and I don't think he should because I'm sure we're probably about to talk about, they should use Canner more. They should, try to utilize Waiters and Morrow and Adams and Ibaka and all their other options. And if that means less Russ energy on offense and more on defense, that's just another bonus to playing team basketball offensively.
Eric, last word to you. Final thoughts on Russell Westbrook's defense. And do you think he can turn it around, not just in Game 3, but throughout the rest of these playoffs?
Well, I mean, you'd like to see him be better at it. And hopefully, like you said, he realizes that he's got these guys around him that can pick up the slack offensively. Maybe they use Canner a little bit more. They go to the two-man game more between he and Canner or he and Adams that we haven't seen at times in the pick and roll early in this series that Dallas is trying to neutralize, particularly Adams going down the lane. So hopefully if he can provide some easy baskets for some of his teammates and get his assist totals up, maybe he won't feel so obligated to press on offense and expend so much energy there.
Okay, guys, next topic. We're talking about Kevin Durant. He was 7 of 33 in Game 2, had 21 points, the worst shooting night of his career. Guys, we all expect him to turn it around. Jenny Carlson wrote, I thought it was a good column about Kevin Durant's number. Not 26 missed shots, but 7 turnovers, a game high. What's the more significant number, 26 as in missed shots or 7 as in turnovers?
I mean, I agree with Jenny, missed shots, concerning moving forward. I think in the game the other night, they lost because of his missed shots, but moving forward, he's not going to miss a lot of those shots. He's not going to miss 26 shots again. He's probably going to shoot above 50% tonight because he usually does. But it's the turnovers because we've seen him have these batches of turnovers in the past. They're 1 and 8 in playoff games when he has 7 or more turnovers, and they're sloppy turnovers that lead to easy points for a team that doesn't get easy points when you get them in the half court. When he's just going to the rim and he thinks he's being fouled and he throws it, basically throws it away while he's flailing. The Mavericks get a 2-on-1 break and they get a layup. But, like I said, if you get the Mavs in the half court and Russell Westbrook plays defense, the Mavs don't score much.
What we've seen all year, guys, we've seen Durant mishandle these turnovers. We've seen that all year when the Thunder has struggled. We haven't seen 26 missed shots. We're not likely to ever see it again. That might be the worst game we see Durant play in a Thunder uniform or anybody else's uniform. But the 7 turnovers is really not out of the thing. The 7 turnovers could come back again. They could come back tonight because Durant really doesn't. He's been pretty consistent with his turnovers. They're always high.
More significant number, Eric, 26 or 7?
The more concerning number is the 7, obviously, and hopefully the Thunder can do a little bit to alleviate some of that in the half court. But Durant's not, like Anthony said, Durant's not going to have one of these games where he misses 26 shots again. He's been hovering around 50% or above 50% all year. He's too good of a shooter to have those kind of numbers, and he's not going to have a game where he's going to need to take 33 shots. because he's going to make a high enough volume before then to where he's not going to need those extra shots at the end, those hurried rush shots. And the shooting will alleviate itself. The turnovers, to me, is where he's got to tighten it up, because I think that leads to him getting into a frustrated state too, and that leads to him pressing on offense.
Guys, one of the things that stands out to me about Durant's turnovers, I'm sort of siding with a lot of the fans at this point. Where's Cameron Payne in all of this? You've got a pure point guard, so to speak, right there on the bench that Billy Donovan's not playing. How much of this is a matter of Billy Donovan not playing Cameron Payne and subsidizing that second unit with a true point guard?
I think a little bit to do with it, but like we can't just blame Billy Donovan for Kevin Durant taking the ball out of bounds and just like throwing it to Devin Harris, or Kevin Durant's gonna have isolations at the elbow. He can't just pump fake Darren Williams into there, think he's gonna get a foul and flail it away. Like Billy Donovan needs to be able to trust Kevin Durant to not make those turnovers. I do agree with you. I do agree with the fans. Like, I think Cameron Payne should play more. I think that's part of it. I think just Cameron Payne's offensive skill is part of it. I think Randy Foye's deep struggles. He's been really bad offensively since he's been here. And the fact that I don't think Dallas has a bunch of guys that are going to exploit Cameron Payne. So I think he should play 15, 20 minutes a night. Some of it's Durant's turnovers, some of it's other things.
Barry, should Cameron Payne be playing in your opinion?
Oh, I don't think it's a big issue either way. I mean, Durant's been turning the ball even when Westbrook's on the court. Payne's defense is not very good, so I like the rotation just fine. I don't see any major problems with the rotation.
What about Randy Foye's struggles?
Well, I mean, Foye's not playing well at all, but at least he defends. His defense has been okay, and I think Payne just gets lit up and lost too often. So. Especially Dallas. The Dallas guards are savvy. They got guile. They got experience. I think they could really.
I think we might have lost Barry. Eric, let's go to you. Do you see minutes for Cameron Payne in this series, particularly because it is against a lower-seeded team in Dallas Mavericks and not one of the top two teams in the Western Conference in San Antonio or Golden State? This could be a good time to get him some experience. What do you think?
I agree. I see minutes. I don't know if Billy Donovan does. I mean, he probably should have gotten a few last game, and I'm not saying he needs to take all of Randy Foye's minutes. I'm not saying he needs to take all of Dion Waiters' minutes, but I think he should have some. I don't think it should hurt. I don't think it would hurt to give him a 5-minute run or 5 to 9 or 10 minutes. I mean, Randy Foye hasn't really provided anything offensively or in terms of his distribution. I think Dion Waiters has been a decent distributor in the series, and he scored some, but Randy Foye's kind of been a non-factor in the first two games. So, I mean, against a Dallas lineup who's got a bunch of guards they're playing, and it's a bunch of guards who are slower guys who've got some injuries, like Darren Williams got the hernia thing. J.J. Barea, he's still going to be coming off of the groin injury in Game 3. Like, what's the loss at playing Cameron Payne a few minutes and seeing what he can do?
Get him some experience, too, because you might need him in the next couple rounds.
Right. You're going to throw him out cold against San Antonio? Like, is that a better option for you? I don't think it is. You might as well try him now.
Good points, guys. You're watching Thunder Thursday with our Thunder coverage team, a playoff edition. Our Thunder playoff coverage is brought to you by J. Marshall Square, OKC's only big house apartment community. Okay, guys, Game 3 is tonight, 6 o'clock on TNT. Thunder and Mavs are tied at 1. The Thunder needs to get a win to get home court advantage back. To do that, they will win Game 3 if, Barry.
So what was the question again, RFD?
They'll win Game 3 if what?
Thunder will win. They shoot above 30% and 3/4 of the game. Their margin of error is so big in this series. Think about all we talked about since Monday night. How bad the Thunder played. All the things they did wrong. 7 turnovers, 26 missed shots from Durant. The defensive lapses. The rebounding dominance that came and went. All the things that the Thunder didn't do. And yet they lost by 1 point and by 1/10 of a second. All they really have to do is play a little bit, and they win this game.
Eric, the Thunder wins Game 3 if?
I'll say if Kevin Durant shoots anything above 45%. And that could mean making a couple more threes for him just to get him back into his rhythm. The Thunder's been terrible from three-point range in this series, and so is the Mavericks. I think they're both shooting below 30%. The Thunder are probably somewhere around, 24, 25%. If Kevin Durant makes a few more shots, they win tonight.
Okay, Anthony, what do you got?
If they can just get above, get a 10-point lead going into the last 5 minutes, because if Dallas can keep it close, this team's going to tighten up again, I think. I mean, there's no reason to believe that they won't after everything we've seen. So, I think they're going to play well. I think they're going to defend well. I think they're going to blow out the Mavericks probably. But if you just throw it into a tie game or a 4-point game with 5 minutes left, then it might be a toss-up at that point.
That's been the Thunder's Achilles heel this season. Closing time. We wrote about it. Barry, we're going to end this with predictions for Game 3 tonight. What do you got, Thunder or Mavs?
I've got Thunder. I'll pick them easy, somewhere in double digits.
Eric, what do you got?
I was going to say Thunder double digits. Barry stole my Thunder. Yeah, but I was going to say Thunder by about 11. I think they'll win a little bit easier tonight. They're going to be angry.
Anthony, final word to you.
Well, I'm going to say Thunder by double digits too, but I'm going to end it with a question. How do you guys think they should parse out their big men minutes tonight? Because Enes Kanter only played 19 last game, but Ibaka's playing pretty well. Steven Adams is playing really well. But Kanter's a big factor. Should they how would you parse out their big man minutes?
Since Kanter came out and had his really good stretch of play in March, I've been under the thought that he should get 20 to 25 regardless of who they're playing, and that's what I'm going to stick with. I really think he should be in that 23 to 25 range.
Do you play him do you take away Collison's minutes? Do you play him with Adams more? Do you go no small ball? Because you have three really good big men that you kind of need to maximize their minutes.
I wouldn't play Nick barring foul trouble, because Adams and Ibaka have done a good job on Dirk. Collison's valuable in countering Dirk, but if Adams and Ibaka are doing the job, you don't have to do that.
And in a pinch, you could throw Durant at You could throw Durant at Dirk too, and that's what Barry talked about yesterday. I mean, Durant at the 4. That's something that we probably need to see more.
But that takes away one of your big men off the floor. Two of them basically are off the floor. Only one of them can be on.
All right,
that's
guys.
True, but those are options.
All right, thanks, guys. And thank you for joining us for another Thunder Thursday Hangout. For the best Thunder coverage anywhere, stay with us every day at newsok.com and in the Oklahoman.